Okay, this is lesson 5.2, still in stretching and shrinking. We're looking at a method called the mirror method today, very similar to the shadow method from lesson 5.1. It is still used to measure something that is too tall to measure, so we're going to use the mirror method this time to solve problems. So, let's look at how the mirror method is set up. We're going to find the height of the stoplight using the mirror method. So, the way the mirror method works is you have an object that's too tall to measure. We give it a height. We put the mirror some distance away. So we measure a distance out, put the mirror away, put it on the ground, and then we start at the mirror and step back until we can see the top of the stoplight inside the mirror. Now, it's kind of hard to explain without actually showing you a mirror, but it's something you can still go outside and try on the height of your house. So, we have the height of the stoplight, we have how far away the mirror is from the stoplight, we have how far away our feet are from the mirror, and how tall we are up to our eyes, not to the top of our head. It has to be from our eyes. So, if we look at this, we have a very similar setup to the shadow method in that we have the height and we have three numbers that we can measure. If we get rid of the extra junk, then all we have left is two similar triangles. The only difference from this and the shadow method is this time the triangles are pointing each other as opposed to pointing away from each other. Still the same exact strategy to solve it though, by looking at height over the ground. So, fraction, fraction. H over 6 equals 1.5 over 2. 6 times 1.5. 6 times 5 is 30. Carry the 3. 6 times 1 is 6. Plus 3 is 9. Put the decimal. We got 9. 9 divided by 2 equals 4.5. The stoplight is 4.5 meters tall. So once you get past the actual picture of the setup, nothing else is different. It's the same exact strategy as the shadow method. The only difference is use a mirror instead of the sun. If the sun's not out, use a mirror. That will always work. You can also use it indoors to find the height of a ceiling. Alright, so once again, you have to learn how to pull out the important information from within a word problem, so we're going to practice that now. So we're going to draw a picture and then solve for the height of the building using the information below. You are 4 foot tall and are 6 foot away from the mirror. So here you are, and you're 4 foot tall, and here's the mirror, and you are 6 feet away from the mirror. The building is 30 feet away from the mirror. 30 feet, and here's the building. Don't you like my nice little drawings? It's another fun part about the shadow method and mirror method. You get to draw fun pictures. Here's our triangles. How tall is the building? H, fraction, fraction. H over 30 equals 4 over 6. Cross multiply. 30 times 4 equals 120. Divide by 6. 120 divided by 6 equals 20. The height of the building is 20 feet tall. Once again, once you get the picture drawn, it is no different from the shadow method except for the triangles point to each other instead of point away from each other. Let's try this again. Picture's already drawn for us. We're going to use the mirror method to solve for the missing parts in the problems 1 and 2. Find the height of the principal. Not drawn to scale, that's just a note you'll see on a lot of things. It means you can't really judge and say, well, that's 1.3, so that's probably, I don't know, 1.5. You can't do that. What you can do is put an H here, height of the principal, fraction, fraction, H over 2.0 equals 1.3 over 1.5. Go ahead and cross multiply and divide. There's some nasty decimals inside the fraction, so I'm going to use a calculator. 2.0 times, write it out, 1.3 equals 2.6. Now we have 2.6 divided by 1.5 divided by 1.5 equals 1.73 meters tall. So the height of the principal is 1.73 meters tall. One way to make sure it makes sense, the principal is taller than the student. 1.73 is taller than 1.3. That makes sense. If you got something like 158, that is way too tall. Make sure your answer makes sense. Okay, last problem for the mirror method. We're going to find the distance from the mirror to the radio tower. So in this case, we're not actually finding the height of something, but there still is something to find. Picture is all set up for us. All the numbers are included. Make two fractions. 5 over 8, 100 over x. This time the x is on the bottom, but it's not a big deal. We can still cross multiply, we can still divide. 100 times 8 equals 800. 800 divided by 5 equals, well, I'm going to set that up. 1, remainder 3, bring down the 0. 5 goes into 36 times. 30, remainder 0. We're done. X equals 160 feet. Alright, so let's recap this worksheet. So lesson 5.2 of stretching and shrinking, we looked at a method called the mirror method. We used the mirror method to solve problems about things that are too tall to measure. Learned how to set up the mirror method. Learned how to pull it out of a word problem and solve it that way, draw our own picture. Solved it again just for some extra practice, and then applied it to solve for a number that is not the height, but it's actually the length. No difference on how to solve it. Still cross multiply and divide. Once again, this is a method that you can just go outside and start using, or even use it indoors. On this one, you can measure the height of your bedroom ceiling using a mirror and a ruler. This is the end of lesson 5.2. Up next is lesson 5.3 in stretching and shrinking.